SMART goals, smarter goals, BHAGs and Moonshot goals and ROIs and KPIs and TPS reports. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding about the TPS reports, but like seriously, all the acronyms, really? And the names and like, there's so much out there as it relates to goal setting, whether you are looking at it from a business context to a personal context, doesn't matter. There's a lot. And some might even say there's a lot of noise. So I'm here today to simplify it, give you some very pointed questions such that if you're in a place where you want to do some goal setting in your business, in your life, that you can and not get caught in all the noise, have some clarity and begin to move forward and closer to what you want. Hi, hello, my name is Heather Patterson and I'm so glad that you're here. If you are new, welcome to my little corner of YouTube and the internet. I'm here to help you get from where you are to where you want to go. I work with entrepreneurs and their teams and have been doing so for nearly 20 years. And hey, if you are returning, welcome back. You kind of know the drill. I'm so glad that you are, coming back for more. I'm so happy for that. So let's dig in here because we have a lot to cover. And like I said, my commitment to you is to kind of cut the noise and give you some very pointed questions to consider as it relates to goals so that you can do just that. You can set the goal and begin to walk the path of achieving it. So what actually is a goal? Like even that is up for debate in many, many circles. And so I'm going to lay out a kind of an idea that was presented to me by one of my mentors. Bless his soul. He is no longer physically present with us, though spiritually, he's around. And this is the ever famous and great Bob Proctor. So he introduced this concept to me. It's been helpful for me to delineate, and I think it'll be helpful for you too. And that's that there are three types of goals. There's an A goal, B goal, and C goal. Let me break these down for you. The A goal is something that you've already done. These are maybe current results or results that you have created before, right? I'm going to argue that that's actually not even a goal. Like it's been done before. But just so that you know what we're talking about when we say an A-type goal, that's what I mean. It means like something that you've already done before. Like, for example, I have run multiple marathons. If I were to set a goal to run a marathon this year or next year sometime, it would not necessarily be a goal. Now, there's many other circumstances that are different. So it's not like I'm doing it exactly the same. I would be doing it exactly the same, but you get the idea. I already have evidence that me, Heather Patterson, can physically run a marathon. It's been done, okay? So then we've got the B-type goal. And the B-type goal is generally something that you think that you can do. So a lot of companies set goals this way, right? We're going to grow our profit by 20%. We're going to improve our retention from 70% to 82% or whatever it might be. You get the idea. So there's already some existing results and it's going to require some more maybe effort, intensity, different resources, different creativity, that sort of thing. But there's a plan and it's fairly conservative, okay? And I'm not saying growing profits by 20% is conservative. It's just an example. So don't get all like up in arms if you think that's aggressive. It might be for you and your industry. Okay, so then the next one is the C type goal. And this is the goal that is, it's a true goal, meaning like you want it. There's a very strong desire, yet you're really not sure how you're gonna get it. I mean, you might have a few ideas in place, but as far as like the execution, you may only know the first few steps. What's really, really prevalent here with this C-type goal though, is the desire, that there is a burning desire and it seems out of reach for you. It's out here instead of right here, or even, you know, a present result like an A or B type goal. That is the C type goal. It's really, really important to remember that none of these, like when I say A, B, or C, this is not a rating or ranking. One is not better than another. It's just a method to help delineate what it is that we are talking about. It's important for you to know what you're working with, and also really important to know and understand who you are as it relates to those goals and what gets you, or those types of goals, and what gets you moving. In case you're wondering and you're like, wait, what were those labels and acronyms and all that in the beginning? A C-type goal is probably going to be corresponded most with a Moonshot Goal or a BHAG. And the Moonshot Goal was a term that was inspired by, I want to say by like the a space expedition, if I'm not mistaken. Let me look that up. And then the BHAG, I think that Jim Collins, the author of Good to Great, introduced that kind of as it's known now today. And that stands for Big, Hairy, Audacious Goal. Oh, look, I just needed to verify this. Moonshot Goals, inspired by the term used by Google X's division. Moonshot goals refer to highly ambitious and groundbreaking goals that might seem impossible. I just had to look that up for you. I knew that it was out there, right? And the idea is, you've probably heard the quote, shoot for the moon and you'll land among the stars, right? So yeah, are these titles and things useful? Well, sure, yeah. And a very simple way to look at it, A, B, or C. Once again, neither are better or worse. They're just, you know, it's just useful to know what it is that you're really working with. Like I promised, I wanted to give you a list of very pointed questions to consider when you're goal setting. Consider this like your ultimate guide to goal setting, right? As the title implies. And tell you what, I'll put this together on a worksheet so that you don't even have to worry about, you know, going for it. Just follow the link below. I'll link it below, and you can go download the sheet and get going. The first question is, what do you want? Just what do you want? And I want you to really think about that and detail it out. Do you have a crystal clear picture of what it is that you want in your mind? Part of achieving the goal will be to visualize the goal having already been completed. So it is important that you are able to visualize the goal being completed. So what is it that you want? Next, you want to ask yourself, well, why do I want this? Why? And maybe you've heard the very famous Simon Sinek talk, you know, start with why, right? And it's a very useful question, although I want to encourage you, do not get caught up in, oh, I'm not really sure why. I'm not sure of the underbelly reasons why, you know. Yes, those are useful. And I'm also here to tell you, your desire is enough. Your desire is coming from spirit, and that is enough to just begin to pursue. Okay, so don't get too bogged down and I don't know my why, and so then you never go after what you want. That's not going to be useful for you. Okay, what do you want? Why do you want it? And then the question is like, how will you know? Many things you're able to count, right? Often people will use revenue or profit in their businesses as a main goal because why? It's not subjective, it's very objective. You can count the money, right? Same with people and retention in business. We all know when we have really great people, A players, then we have typically really great companies, great ideas, that sort of thing. So retention of your A and B players in an organization, also a great goal and something that you can count. However, there are some things that are less easy to count. And so when those are in front of you and those are things that you want to pursue, then how will you know? What are some of the other areas of evidence or even just self-measured, self-assessed measurements that you could create so that you understand kind of where you're at as far as progress goes, which we'll talk about later. But how will you know that you've achieved the goal? What does it really look like? Next question, by when? By when do you want to achieve the goal? Now, for those of you who have heard of SMART goals, this is the T in SMART acronym, time bound. But the really simple way to ask this is by when? By when will you have grown your retention rate? By when will you have improved your profitability? By when will you be in the relationship of your dreams? By when will you be vacationing in, New Zealand? It's a good question. That's one of mine, right? So by when? That's the question. How many by when often is the combo question, right? How will you know? Meaning how much can you count? How will you measure it? How many, how much, by when? Okay, I love this next question and it doesn't get talked about a lot. There are these, let's call them ancillary goals or ancillary objectives that are inherently there, yet sometimes forgotten or not mentioned or really not acknowledged, and it's really important. So in the pursuit of the goal, here's the question. In the pursuit of the goal, what may need to be preserved or protected? So let's take this growing organization, for example. And they want to grow their revenue, which means the sales force generally is going to be out there, pounding the pavement and setting their appointments and making their deals. Okay? So they are selling, yet what the company would be wise to consider is that the customer service and the quality of the product or the service is able to be maintained or even improved. Because what can happen is as an organization grows and grows very quickly, sometimes the quality of the service or the product will diminish and then the customers go out the door. The old customers go out the door. The new ones are just coming in. They're like, oh my gosh, I don't know. This isn't what I thought it would be. I'm out too. And then the company has some other issues going on, right? And so what else do you need to have your eyes and ears on, right? That's important as you pursue the goal. The same is true for someone in a personal matter or situation, right? I just mentioned that if New Zealand is definitely it's a bucket list destination for me. I would not even say it's a goal at this point because I have not decided, which is a whole nother conversation, right? However, when I decide I'm going to New Zealand for 14 days or more, because that's what I know I'll do, right? Then how will I maintain my business operations and my communications, and how will I keep my clients happy and satisfied while I am traveling? Ancillary goals. Same thing is true. I was just speaking with someone the other day. They're a triathlete. They also have family responsibilities. It's very obvious to me that there's some tension there. Okay, so how will you train for your event and have quality time with the family? ancillary goals. We don't want to give all of our time and attention to training for that event and then the family falls apart, or give all our time to travel and then business operations crumble and clients are dissatisfied and giving you bad reviews, and on and on and on it goes. You can see. And this, like I mentioned, it gets overlooked. So don't make that mistake. Really look out and go, okay, how is this going to affect some other things that I need to preserve and protect? Now we're starting to veer into the planning and execution aspect of goal setting. You don't set a goal just to set it. You set it to achieve it, right? So a very, very important question that you need to ask, also not commonly talked about, is how does this goal and the outcome that you're looking for align with your current identity? I'll say it again. How does this goal align with your current identity? See, your identity is like your self-image, right? It's how you see yourself. And if you do not see yourself as a person who achieves this sort of goal, let me be the first to tell you, or maybe I'm not the first, but I'll just echo, right? You will not outperform your current identity. So what adjustments might you need to make to your current identity such that it's aligned, it matches the goal? Another very valid question to ask is, has someone else achieved this goal before? Is there a proven model or process, something for me to replicate, study, receive mentorship? Most things, unless you're talking about going to Mars or something, right? Most things have been done. Are you willing to humble yourself and be a strong follower as you are leading yourself to achieve this goal? You also want to consider what is in your control, like what will be your responsibility and what will you do and carry out. Also, who else needs to be involved? Who can you rely on and count on and enroll into, for support and help? Oftentimes, I see people and they're going hard and they're often going hard alone. Get some people, alongside of you to support you in your pursuit. There's a saying, it says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So I encourage you, really think about this question, who can you rely on, count on, and who might you need to enroll into your idea so that you have a really great support system around you. Speaking of support systems, what about an ongoing mastermind or a collective of individuals who is there? They know and understand what it is that you are pursuing, why you're pursuing it, and they're available. They're available to give their insights, their experience based on their backgrounds with this goal that you are in pursuit of. Maybe they're just there to listen or make some connections with and for you, and you are there to do the same for them. What ongoing support system do you have? Not necessarily to help you achieve the goal, but to be there for you as you're in pursuit. We've touched on this a little bit, although it was in my notes. So how are you measuring progress? And speaking of progress, when you think about especially these C-type goals, right? These C-type goals, are there milestones along the way? And what will you do to celebrate, meeting those milestones and continuing to stay engaged and enthusiastic about where you're headed, especially for those really long range goals? Also related to your support system, who are you as it relates to accountability? Like, are you the kind of person who you say you're gonna do it, you do it? Or do you need to make a declaration to a friend, a coworker, a loved one, a coach, a mentor, so that you'll carry things out? Do you keep those commitments, or do you tend to bend and break and want to resist the rules and pressure? this whole idea of know thyself. Well, who are you as it relates to accountability? Do you like to have carrots, or sticks, right? Rewards or punishment? Like, set yourself up based on who you are and how you are wired so that you will continue to move forward. And in those backslide moments, when they happen, not if, when they usually do, what will you do about it? And finally, what is going to be your attitude? Like, what are you really committed to? Right? Some people have goals that they set and they're willy-nilly, loosey-goosey about it. It's sort of like, if it happens, it happens. Others on the very opposite side of the spectrum have a whatever it takes mindset. Whatever it takes, barring anything, unkind, immoral, unethical, right? Okay, but whatever it takes. Where do you stand? If you really, really want the goal, you have this burning desire, you're connected to the why and what's it all for, then you're going to need the whatever it takes attitude. Persistence will be required. Okay, that about sums it up. Those, I don't even know how many questions I offered you have all been summarized, like I mentioned, in the Ultimate Guide to Goal Setting. You can find the link to download that in the description. I so appreciate you being here and I want to hear from you, like what question was most valuable and what goals have you set as a result of this message. You can leave a comment, or if you want, head over to Instagram and hit me up in the DMs. I'd love to hear from you. See you next time.